Yeah, well, basically what I was saying was that a washback is a principle that is more for the teachers rather than for the students. It could be like an assessment for the assessment process, and it's something that yeah is well, as you know, teachers and students are evaluated. A teacher's performance is also evaluated. However, this kind of evaluation comes from the results of his teaching. So yeah, in Washback is for teachers because it forces teachers to improve their flaws and to discard the things that were not so useful for their students. For example, maybe some activities or the tests that were not uh, were not as revealing as they could be. So yeah, it's a process of taking what is useful and throwing what is not.
What is not useful? No? Yes, yes. Great, great. I couldn't agree more with you on that respect. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Great, great. Well, I hope we have more students now. Let's see. Well, we have a few more. Great. So, Avi, I'd like to ask you to display this document and share this document that I sent you today. It's the name is Unit 2 T4. Unit 2 T4. I sent you before class. I sent it to you today before class.
Which one? The chapter number 11. That was what you.
No. The other one. It's one that I sent to the chat, to our chat.
Let me see.
Exactly. I sent yeah. 24 principles. Let me see that. Oh, I sent it to you, I think. Let me see. I'm not sure. Let me see.
I don't have it in our chat. Let me see in the group on the other one. No.
No, I have it. I have it ready right here. What you're gonna have to give me 1 minute. No, it's here. No. It's forgive me. I sent it to my other class.
Oh.
To my class in the morning. And it's not an assessment class. It's a practica. Sorry, you're gonna have to give me 1 minute to correct my mistake. Yeah.
Okay.
So from here, I'm gonna. Do you want me to send it to you or to the chat? Which one is better?
To the chat, I think, for everyone has access.
Everyone to see. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was so sure that I sent it, but I sent it to the wrong addressee. Okay. Great. I'm going to have to erase this from the other chat. And I erase that.
Applying classroom-based language assessment, Unit 4, right?
Applying classroom-based language assessment. Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, so what we have here is it's a review of chapters 8, 9, I think it's also number 10. And there's a little bit of administrative procedures too. So it's a review of these 4 chapters that we have in the book, and that we have covered in class. Well, except for administrative procedures, but it's only a 3-4 page chapter, no, that we can quickly skim for the main ideas. Great. Yeah. Great. So we're going to see, for example, chapter 8 is developing assessment task templates, which you have on page, let me see, 88, no? 88. If you want to follow in the book also, I mean, in your PDF documents, if you want to contrast the concepts here with the book, or you want to expand or look at the figures, which are better to illustrate concepts, you can do that. No? You can do that. Great. And so let me open this over here too. Yeah. So as you can see here, no, a template is necessary, no, to better develop a task that can positively influence teaching and learning. So therefore, in this chapter, we're going to see how to select, describe, modify a target language use task, no? How to develop methods for recording, scoring. Well, scoring, I don't think it's in this chapter. How to evaluate, no? The modified task in terms of assessment quality. And we're going to talk also a little bit about assessment qualities, which are the qualities that we have been discussing in these 2 past lessons. No? Validity, let me see, meaningfulness, generalizability, impartiality, consistency, no? And practicality. Yeah, those are important concepts when developing assessment task templates. No? Okay, so first I would like you to, as a review, no? As a review, or if you want, you can do this just simply by evoking what you remember, or if you want to, if you happen to have your book with you, you can get some information from there. But what do you remember about assessment tasks? What are assessment tasks, and what are assessment task templates? No? What is an assessment task? Please, anybody, somebody.
Only assessment task or assessment task type?
No, assessment task first.
Because I thought that was the same, but okay, I'm going to check.
Assessment task, only assessment task. A task, well, we could say that a task is like well, sometimes we call it an item. So it's one, let's say that it's some kind of an activity, you know, that tries to reflect on what students know about a particular language ability. You know? Maybe we can say that it's one component, you know, of a complete assessment. You know? For example, if you're if you want to develop an assessment when you finish unit 1, you need several assessment tasks, no? That are representative of what the students have studied in the unit, no? Right. So it's only one particular activity, no? Now, and what is assessment task template? What is an assessment task template?
Well, I have some information.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
have that an assessment task template provides the basis of creating, the basis for creating different assessment tasks that have many activities and procedures and task characteristics in common.
Great. Yes, that's exactly what it is. No. It's this information that we have, no, that we can see, all this information that provides the basis, like you said, for creating different assessment tasks. No? When we have an assessment task template, no, what we can do then is to modify, no, some of these templates to create new assessment tasks, no? So basically, this will be like the basis, no, that you need for creating future assessment tasks that are similar, no, but that serve a different purpose, no. For example, you can use the same task template for a class in level 1, but then for a class in level 2, the difference is that in level 2, the content is different and the grade and the degree of difficulty is different. No? Great. So now, if we go back to the document, if we continue with the document, if we can scroll down a little bit here, maybe something that we can remember here is the 3 steps, no, the 3 principles. But we're going to see in the next slide. Great. So
I can hear you. I don't know if it is my internet connection.
no, yes. No, I just needed a minute because someone was asking me, and because my microphone is always active, I didn't want you to hear something. Someone here at home asked me something. Sorry about that. Great. So I would like someone, maybe Abby, to read this section after after this table, no? According to Bachman.
Consists.
Exactly, according to Bachman and Dumbo.
Okay, according to Bachman and Dunbuck, a classroom-based assessment consists of a variety of assessment tasks or items. As a way to illustrate assessment tasks, the authors suggest that for assessing vocabulary, a sufficient number of assessment tasks can be used to determine if students have mastered the vocabulary studied in the lesson or not. At this point, it is necessary to recall some of the qualities stated on claims 3 and 4. Meaningfulness, generalizability, consistency, and practicality. To learn the role that these qualities play in developing an assessment task template, you have to study the topic Developing Assessment Task Templates, Chapter 8 in the textbook Language Assessment for Classroom Teachers. After reading about the qualities, reflect on what you have learned about assessment tasks in terms of meaningfulness, generalizability, consistency, and practicality. Continuing with this topic, the authors propose some steps to follow in developing assessment task templates. And these steps are illustrated in the following graph.
Thank you.
And this is
Thank you very much, because that is well, then we have the graph, and then we have the next well, then we have an activity, no? Yeah, great. So yeah, I just wanted to remark something before we look at the graph, no? Yeah, this the qualities, no? It is the 5 qualities of assessment tasks, no? Well, one is missing in the over exactly right where the cursor is. If you can scroll down, no? Well, okay, one is missing there because the other one is impartiality, no? Impartiality. That one is also mentioned here in the book on page 90. I want to be, yeah, page 90, no, 89. On page 89, you have these 5 qualities. Okay. Entonces, la que falta ahí es impartiality. Yes, if you can write that. Impartiality. Oh, impartiality actually is with T after PAR is T. Exactly, that one, that should be a T. Yeah. Impar. No, that's okay. Impar and then T. Exactly, because the adjective is with T and only one L, no? Impartiality. Yeah. A single L in impartiality. Great. That's the last one, no? The last one. Great. And so, well, as a review, so meaningfulness. Can anybody explain this quality, no? Meaningfulness? What can you say about this when developing an assessment task?
Well, I understand
Thank you.
meaningfulness. Well, I'm not sure, but meaningfulness, I think that is the information in the task assessment can help to the students to develop their command of the language, maybe. I'm
Yes,
not sure.
or the ability that is supposed to be assessed. Yeah, it could be well, the command of the language in any of the levels of ability that is being measured. No, for example, it could be in writing, reading. So because we want to have interpretations that are meaningful, you know? So what we should do as teacher is in the assessment task, elicit performance from the students, ¿no? That engages the ability that is going to be assessed. Elicit, es decir, sacar de ellos, ¿no? The best performance possible, ¿no? And in the ability that is being assessed, no? Because you want to have interpretations that are meaningful, no? So meaningful refers to the intended interpretations that we have. Mm-hmm. Great. And when we talk about generalizability as one of the qualities of assessment tasks, what do we mean by this? Generalizability.
Maybe about the intended interpretations.
the intended interpretations. No? Yes, intended interpretations. This corresponds to the target language use tasks, no, the TLU tasks that we call. Mm-hmm. And generalizable, meaning that, for example, the same that happens, for example, with this group, no, can be extended or can apply for another group. No? So if you're working, I mean, if you have different groups, if you're working with different groups, you want to have results. No, you want to have interpretations that are generalizable. No, that means that can apply for one group or the other, regardless of the time, place, or way that you administer. Okay? Great. And then the next one, consistency. What about consistency? Consistency has to do with the
minimize the impact of inconsistency. Maybe.
Yeah, well, okay, consistency and consistency of the same, but consistency has to do with the assessment records, no? Assessment records. So you want to have assessment records that are consistent, no? That are consistent. So it's like each one of these characteristics, one of these qualities has to do with one of the claims, no? With one of the 4 claims. So consistency associated with assessment records. What about impartiality? If you happen to have your book with you, information about this is on page 89, no? 89. You can.
Sorry, sorry for interrupting. For me, impartiality is referred to to set equal conditions to every students. So the assessment works the same for each one of them. That's for me impartiality.
Yes, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, and just to complement, what the book says, we as teachers should avoid using or using a content that may be offensive, in different regards. For example, topically, es decir, que el tópico maybe can be offensive, culturally, linguistically. Okay. That the content of this may not be offensive or inappropriate for some students. Also, we should avoid using task types or response formats that may be unfamiliar to some students. No? So, in other words, don't use tricky questions, no, or tricky. I don't know. Maybe in the when you present the options or something, put tricky. Avoid this kind of tricky or things that are unfamiliar to some students. And impartiality has to do with the intended interpretations. Intended interpretations, because we want to have interpretations that are impartial, that respect everybody's culture, everybody's history or ethnicity, etc. Great. That is practicality. That is consistency. And the last one is practicality. What about practicality? What do we mean by practicality?
As in the book says, it is referred to the easiness to correct the task, to distribute them, and all the how can I say, logistic of taking a test.
Exactly, of administering a test. Yes, develop, administer, and use in the classroom. So it should be very easy for you to implement, and administer, implement, and then use, and then, well, we could say, as we saw in the last class, that also easy to interpret for you. So it should be practical as well. Great. Can we go to the next? Yeah. Okay, so then we have this, the 5 steps. No. So what are these steps? Or I think it's 6 steps. No, 5 steps. So you can see these steps in the form of the text on page 19. No. Well, here you have a graphic which can be maybe more practical, to remember, right? As you can see, all of them are in the center is using TLU tasks to develop. And then you have step 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and they should follow that order. That order. Right, as you can see, number 1 is select a TLU task that might serve as a basis for developing assessment tasks. Number 2, describe this TLU task. That's the second step. 3, modify the TLU task to provide a basis for an assessment task template, because you want to have a task template. Then number 4, develop a method for recording the student's performance for the assessment task template. Recording methods. And number 5, evaluate the assessments in terms of the qualities. So every now and then, after some time, after administering some assessments, you should evaluate your assessments and see if they are practical, if they are meaningful, if interpretations are meaningful, if the intended interpretations are generalizable, right? Impartial and consistent, and for you practical to administer, and use and score and everything. Those are the 5 steps. Great. And so then we have this. Well, then you have the rest of information in the book on page 91, 92. Okay, so maybe what you can do here, maybe for homework, or maybe in this 20 minutes that we have, or 15 that we're gonna have after this session, you can fill in this chart here. Step 1, step 2, 3, 4, and 5, maybe with the information that we have here in the book. Explain what each step consists of. Yeah. Can we scroll down and go to page number 3 now? Creating language assessment tasks. Great. Okay. Okay, and so this lesson is about, well, it's chapter 9 in the book. It's chapter 9 here in the book, beginning on page 111, all the way through 131 with examples and everything. Okay, so this chapter is about learning to create, how to create language assessment tasks. No? For this purpose, there is a video here. It's a very short video. It's only 2 minutes. So I would like to ask Abby to play the video. Well, hopefully the sound is
Yes.
good. It's a video on how to create and how important it is to identify keywords when students are on understanding or in the process of understanding a task. And also for us as teachers, we need to make sure that the language we use, okay, is simple, concrete, that it's not ambiguous, no, because the purpose of the test is not to confuse students, no. I know that there are teachers now that sometimes want to put very difficult questions, and so the instruction is confusing. And when the students ask what they have to do, the teacher says, "No, it's an exam. I can't tell you." No, we shouldn't proceed like this. No, if we really want to know if a student has been able to cope with a certain ability, no, language ability, then we have to make it very clear. I mean, the structures, we have to display very clear instructions, no, because we're not testing the ability that a student has to decode, no, para decodificar secret instructions or complex instructions, no. On the contrary, the instructions have to be very clear. And so here are some ideas on how you can do that as a teacher and also as a student, no? If you're taking a test, no? If you're a test taker. So please, can you play the video, Abby?
Assessment is to make sure. Thanks for tuning in to Understanding the Assessment Task.
Can you hear it and see it?
No, no. I don't know if the video is playing, but I can't hear.
Oh, let me see.
The most important thing to do before starting to write an assessment is to make sure you.
Now you can hear it. Can you hear it or not? I don't know.
Not really. I mean,
No.
I can hear
Understand
a sound in the background, but I'm not sure it's the video that is playing. I don't know.
Exactly what the task requires. Here are some tips on how to do this.
What
The
we can
first
try,
thing to
Abby,
do is look
that
for
you
the
let
action
someone
words.
share
Exactly.
the screen and someone with a computer, no, then the sound might be better, because when you're using a tablet or a phone, you have to set this item in the settings, no, of the Zoom when you.
Okay. I already allow everybody to share their screens.
Yeah. Okay, so can we have someone, I don't know, someone who's working with a computer, can you please share this? Yeah, Hugo, good. But the one that we have to do is.
Can you share the link with me so I can? Yeah, let me send it to me through WhatsApp. Yeah.
But the link is there in well, it was there on the screen, but well, because it's an Abby's document, and you have to send the link. But it is this one that is on identifying keywords.
Yeah.
Yes. Identifying keywords and expanding the task. It's a very short video. It's only 2 minutes. Sí, el título es Understanding the Assessment Task. Yes.
Yeah, let me
Exactly.
see.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, tell me if you can hear it.
Thanks for tuning in to Understanding the Assessment Task. The most important thing to do before
Yes.
starting to write an assessment is to make sure you understand exactly what the task requires. Here are some tips on how to do this. The first thing to do is look for the action words. Examples of action words are compare, contrast, analyse, explain, or identify. Next, you need to look for content words. In this example, content words are theories, dinosaurs, and extinct. The next thing to do is look for any limiting words. In this example, the word to limits you to discussing two theories. Lastly, are there any words you don't understand? If you find words you don't understand, you may need to go back to the course material, ask your tutor, look them up in a dictionary or on the internet. This strategy of identifying key words in an assessment task can be applied to any essay question. Sometimes you'll come across words that you think you know the meaning of, but it's worthwhile checking the meaning of the word in the course you are studying. For example, this task asks you to compare two theories. In everyday life, we have theories about everything, but our theories are not necessarily based on scientific evidence. In university study, we are interested in theories based on scientific evidence or information taken from an established body of research. In this task, it would be worthwhile asking your tutor what the word theories means in the course. Once you have gone through these steps, then you need to check your understanding of the task by expanding the question. For example, even though the question is stated in a simple way, what is involved is more complex. What the task involves is showing similarities and differences between two theories, and theories in this context means using scientific evidence. For more handy hints on studying at uni, check out the other videos in our Tune-In series.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, so as you can see, this gives us a general overview, how important the instruction of the task is, and helping students identify. Maybe it's something that you can do in class, I mean, when, for example, you can do some sample tests, in class, and teach them to recognize or to identify keywords. So in other words, students should be able to understand exactly what it is that they have to do. Because if they don't, they're going to do something wrong. They're going to do it all wrong. And so teach them this. And also, well, it also means that the other perspective is that we as teachers should use simple language that students really understand. And if something is not very clear, if something is not very clear, as in the example that the lady gave, you can be more specific. For example, if you say two, you can underline two and put in parentheses only two, only two. And then if you want them to compare, exactly, or contrast, maybe the compare is easy, but maybe contrast. So contrast means that you find differences, and in parentheses you can put, for example, find differences. So I mean, in other words, make it easy for students to understand what it is that they have